Live video. You're live.
Good morning, everyone. This is Denise from the University of Sewing saying happy Saturday. Thank you all for joining us. Those of you that watch us regularly on our Facebook Live Fridays and Saturdays, of course, are used to seeing Margaret, who is not available today. She is out of the shop, so I get to come and play with you, and I'm very excited about that. So thank you again for joining us. We're going to talk today about quilting, which is my personal favorite and passion. This month, March, is National Quilting Month, and it's winding down. So we thought we'd take some time today and talk about some things here in the shop to encourage you in your craft. One of the things that we are doing that I get to play a lot with and I'm really excited about is Granny's 1930 Sampler. This is a pattern book written by Ricky Timms. We're doing it as a sew-along. So every 2 weeks we post a video on our YouTube site with the most current block. There are 42 blocks in this beautiful sampler. Lots of opportunity to learn new skills. So many of them I have never done, so I'm learning right along with you, and I'm happy to share what works for me when it works and what doesn't work for me when it doesn't work, so that you can take advantage of my mistakes and missteps. The pattern is really sweet, and it is based off this really cute little novel that's also written by Ricky Timms and his friend Kat Bowser. This is a great one to do a read along with your children or maybe grandchildren. If you're still not quite visiting face to face, you could even do a Zoom or a Skype and read with them. That would be fun too. I want to show you some of the blocks that we've got done so far. We're up to block number 11. So over here in this corner was our very first one, and we worked our way through. There's traditional piecing, there's a little bit of applique, there are lots of paper piecing blocks, which is fun. And we've got some fun varieties. It's a great way to use up some of the scraps in your stash. A great way to try some new things. And like I said, we're only on number 11 out of 42 blocks, so there's plenty of time to join in if you want to. We do still have some of the books. Occasionally we sell out, but right now I think we have 4 or 5, so come join us. So, continuing on with our quilting theme, we're going to go over here and talk about what to quilt. You need a pattern, right? We've got some really fun new patterns in I want to show you. Quilters like to plan ahead, don't we? So I have some cute Christmas things. I know it's a little early, but I know it's also noodling around in your brain. We've got this sweet one, which is perfect for flannels that we do also have. I could just see snuggling up on the couch with this one. And then this one, we're almost done with the sample for this one in the shop, so it'll be hanging up here soon. And then these are so stinking cute. Look how cute these are. This one has the laser cut applique. So it takes all the tricky part of the applique out. You can do it by machine. You can do whatever you'd like with that one. And then we have, maybe you don't want to do a quilt. Maybe you're quilted out. You need something to go along with it. Same idea. This has got a bunch of different items in it. This is a great pattern. Lots of gifty ideas or just decorating your own place for the holidays, which, believe it or not, it's going to be here before we know it. And then this one just came in, and it's adorable. Look how cute these guys are, dragons. And those of you that know Margaret know that she loves her dragons, and how cute is this? They're so fun. Make a great little kid's quilt or to welcome a little baby into your family. We've also gotten some new fabric in. I'm sure you're not surprised by that. I'm just going to give you a little peek today. We've got a stack of it, mostly garment related, but Margaret will give you all the details on that stuff next week. For now, I wanted to share with you these beautiful polka dots that came in. I think they would be so much fun in a quilt. You could do it as a border, you could do it as a backing. It would be great as pieces in your block. And then this one, I happen to love red and white personally, but look how cute that is. You've got the little bicycle. It almost looks like little French scenes. Just a sweet little toile. And these feel very nice too, which I'm sure you're not surprised because Margaret does only choose the good stuff. Then the other thing that we got in this week that was cute, and I thought, oh, this is nice. This is a good idea. We should have this. And then I looked at it a little more carefully, and I got so excited. I ran over to Margaret and said, did you see this? And of course she had, because she ordered it. But I was super excited. So we have labels. It's a panel with labels, which I'm sure you've all seen, a bunch of times before. There are many different versions of them, and these are pretty cute and pretty standard. But on the other side, I'm going to flip it over so you can see how cute these are. These are a little different. They're a little different shaped. They're a little more contemporary in their message. I love the one up here that says eat, sow, slay. Slay the day, as my kids say. And look at these little, just a tag that you could attach. Busy hands, calm mind, homebody, hey gorgeous. Positivity is contagious. How true is that? So I thought these were super fun and wanted to make sure you all knew that we have them. You can attach them to your quilt, and I would definitely encourage you to label your quilts, please. You can do hand embroidery on these. You could do machine embroidery. You could even just get a nice archival pen or a fabric marker and write your message of who your quilt is for, your name, why you made it, where you made it, and maybe even if there's room, a little story behind it. Somebody in the future is going to be really grateful to read those. So continuing on with our quilting theme, you're going to need some notions. So you've got your pattern picked out, you've got your fabric picked out. Now you need the tools to do the job, right? The easiest thing in the world is going to be your machine quilting needles. Please don't forget to change your needles often. We have a nice variety of them in the shop. I've got 2 different sizes here, and then this one is a variety pack. Margaret always says around the shop that they are a really inexpensive thing to change, and it will go such a long way in the quality of your finished item, your garment or your quilt, and your machine will be grateful too. So now we're going to go this way a little bit. We're going to keep talking about those notions that you need to finish your quilt project, but as we get over to our notions wall, I just want you to take a little scan at all of the awesome patterns that we have. Our wall's getting kind of full, which is great. There's a wonderful variety of contemporary things, traditional things, applique, non-applique, lots of fun things, and of course our beautiful quilt fabrics. If my wonderful, handsome husband cameraman could come this way, we've got a huge variety of some wide backs. Those of you that don't like to piece the back to your quilt, not a problem, we got you covered. Some of us are a little more math challenged than others, and this makes life so much easier. So if you want to bring your project in, we'd be happy to help you find the right back for that. Now we're going to head on over to the notions wall. So you've got your fabric picked out, you've got your pattern picked out, you've got your needle changed in your machine. You're going to need a couple other things, right? This is our fun notions wall. We've got tons of pins. We've got specifically quilt pins. One of my favorites are the Tulip Pink unicorn head pins. They're just fun to use. We've got some fantastic scissors. Margaret's a big fan of Kai scissors. They're serrated, so your fabric's not going to slip while you're cutting, which is really handy when you're trying to make it so precise, which is something quilters work really hard at. We've got wonder clips if you're not into pinning. And sometimes the pins work best, and sometimes the wonder clip is what you need. So we've got this little package, and we've got this one. We'll keep moving down here, and we've got the awesome stash and store to keep all these notions and tools organized for you. I love these little seam rollers. You can do finger pressing. Sometimes you don't want to get up and down so often to the ironing board. These little guys are great. I particularly like the ones with the wooden rollers on them. I think they're really useful. This little guy is one of my favorites, and I think I've talked about it before. It's just a little caddy, so you can drop your pins in there. It's got a magnet on the side, and then I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but on the top of the handle there is a blade, so when you're doing your chain piecing, you can just take those threads in between the pieces that you've just sewn together and slide it over that blade to cut things off. So much easier than snipping each one. It's a great time saver too. We've also got, of course, plenty of rulers. We've got machine quilting gloves for those of you that do your own quilting. We've also got the Martelli palm paddles, which I really like. We've got the gripper rings that you can use, but for me, you have to hold those exactly where they are. With the palm paddles, you can space them out as close or as far away as is comfortable for you. So I think these are kind of cool. Talking about our rulers, like I said, we've got a great supply of those. We also have the little grippy dots, and of course now I can't see them right off. Oh, here they are. To keep your rulers from sliding around on your work, because they do want to do that sometimes. There are some brands, some of the creative grids I think have a little friction on the back of them so that they don't slide, which is great. And I'm going to sneak around this way and show you another item we just got in that will help with that. This is a spray coating to put on the back of your rulers. And this works with your rulers that you use for rotary cutting or for your long arm rulers if you're using those. You don't want that stuff moving around. It makes it so much more challenging. And these days, who needs an extra challenge, right? Let's make it easy for ourselves. So once you've got your fabric, you've got your pattern, you've got all your notions and tools set up, you're ready to go, you've got your top piece, yay! Now what? Well, a couple more steps here. Before we get too far though, I do want to show you our Aurafill. I know the quilters are pretty particular about our Aurafill. We use the best fabrics, we use the best patterns, we use the best tools, we also like the best thread, and I want you to know Margaret has heard you. She obviously is improving our Aurafill inventory. We've got all this space here, so I will say stay tuned and see how this fills up. If there's a color or colors that you particularly use often, let us know and we'll see if we can make sure that we have that just for you. So once you've got your top pieced with your Aurafill thread using all of your cool notions, now you've got to make that quilt sandwich. What are you going to put in between it? Well, some batting, of course. This is wool batting. You're thinking, yeah, it might be a little warm. Wool actually breathes really nicely, so it's not going to be too warm. And the cool thing about the wool, you know how when you get your quilt back from the long armor, it's so heavy. All that quilting adds so much weight to it. And it does, but the wool batting is lighter than the quilting, so it's not going to be quite that heavy. And if that's a concern for you, this is something that I would encourage you to consider. Underneath the wool, we've also got some bamboo, and it just feels so nice. It's a thinner batting, something that maybe you're doing a lot of quilting in. This might be fun to do. You might even consider doubling up this one because it is a little thin, but if you want a little more texture in your finished product, I would consider that. The bamboo is also a sustainable resource. So for those of you that are, thinking about that as you're doing your quilting projects, looking for things that are kind of a more green way of doing it, definitely something to consider. I have some other batting things that I want to share with you. We're kind of stepping up our batting game. No baseball pun intended there. So we've got some packaged bamboo batting also, if you don't want to purchase it by the yard. It's a little easier to carry home. Maybe you just need a smaller size. We've got the silk blend batting, which is really cool. There are, I'm sure you guys have seen all of the things online, on the shopping websites, on the quilting websites, about the garments that are being made out of quilts. It's kind of a cool idea. It's not a new idea. It's kind of coming back. But the silk might be a neat thing to use in your garment if that's your plan. Of course, we've got the wrap and zap for people that are doing those projects that are going to go in the microwave. And maybe you're not always using that white background. Maybe you've got something a little darker, and maybe a black batting is something you need. So sometimes I'm sure you've noticed when you're doing your quilting that the fibers from the batting will peek through your quilt top or your back. I think it's called bearding. And then you've got those fuzzies. Well, if you've got a dark top with a dark back and a light colored batting, it's really obvious. And it's so frustrating when you've put all that effort in and now you've got these fuzzies all over the place. The black batting, it might still peek through depending on how you're quilting it, but you're not going to notice it as much. And I want to show you something that we've been working on. An example of our black batting. This one, we use the black batting in. This is the Aboriginal fabrics, the Australian fabrics from M&S Textiles. Just kind of a wall hanging size. And this actually has 2 layers of the black batting in it. And if you can see, I'm hoping the quilting on it. Our resident long arm expert and quilter extraordinaire, Heather Alexander, did the quilting for us. And we had her do more quilting in the black and then leave the printed fabrics unquilted so they pop out a little bit more. I think it came out beautifully. Can't wait to hang it up. It just needs to find a spot. And here's just a peek of the back. just because everybody always wants to see what's on the back. Some fun fabrics there. So like I said, we have stepped up our batting game, and we are kind of excited to see what you guys are going to do with all of that. We do also have this nifty little resource that you could fit easily in your sewing room or in your pocket as you're out shopping. All kinds of information here on good batting and how to use it and when to use it and how to get the most out of it. Quilters spend a lot of money on our craft, and we want to get the most out of what we do, right? So we're going to continue on here into the room of the long arms. It sounds like something grand and fabulous, and it is, because it's Bernina's, right? So again, National Quilting Month is wrapping up, but so is our March Madness Bernina sale, which ends the end of March, which is the 31st, coming up on Wednesday. We've got long arm quilting machines at 20% off. That's a huge discount, and that's not something that happens all the time. So if you like sending your stuff to the long arm, that is fantastic. We have someone we can recommend if you're looking for someone to do long arming. As we just showed you, Heather does beautiful work. Maybe you'd like to try it yourself. Maybe you don't have a lot of space in your sewing room for a big long arm and frame. Maybe a sit down would be the way to go. We've got the Q20 and the Q16 that you can do on the table. We've got lots of table options for you there. Maybe you've got some space. Maybe you're ready to go big. And I'm going to have my awesome cameraman turn around here and just give you a peek at our Q24 on the frame. This is on the large frame. You can see Margaret's wonderful dragon quilt. And we're wrapping up that one. But I just wanted to make sure that you all knew about the wonderful things that we have for quilting here in the shop and that Bernina can use. Bernina has to help you with your quilting adventures, because they are adventures. Well, guys, that's Saturday here in the shop. Margaret and Dave, we miss you. You guys have an awesome adventure. Thank you all for joining us. From Margaret and Dave and myself here at the University of Sewing, have a great Saturday.